Hello, this is Justice Baxter, and welcome back to Texas Race and Gender Anti-Discrimination Initiative. Today I'm going to be discussing the question of women in the military. And before I get into that, I am in the active duty Marine Corps currently. And because of that, I have certain restrictions on what I can say and how I can say it. While my opinions on this are going to be partially formed by my experience in the Marines, I cannot and do not claim to speak on behalf of the Marine Corps on matters of politics. Alright, so first of all, the question of women in the military. At this point, it's not really a question. We've had women in the military with fairly few restrictions for decades now. It's not something I necessarily feel weird about it. But I'm not against it by any means necessarily, at least holistically. But I've got a couple issues. First of all, females in the military are held to different physical requirements than males are held to. And there could be issues with that, with the idea that they weaken the military's combat effectiveness because they can't do all the things that guys can do, I guess. So, there is that to it. I will say most of the time, women wouldn't be held back too much by that in the roles that they most commonly serve in. But I'll get to that later. Or not. So, the other idea is to have them be held to the same requirements that men are. The issue with that is that you'd either have to remove a service member's scoring in their physical requirements from the process that you determine promotions based on, or you would end up with men almost exclusively filling the higher ranks, while women would find it almost impossible to get promoted. So you'd end up with just all the EO complaints, equal opportunity. So my solution, and what I think is a relatively fair in between for those, is that women would be held to the same requirements that men can, or that men are. Most females are able to, well, I don't know if I'd say that much, but the higher performing females are able to pass the minimum requirements for every category of the men's physical fitness tests, at least in the Marine Corps, and I'm assuming it's only easier in the other branches. So they would be held to the same requirements, but their scores would still be separate, so that they'd be competing only against the other females, so that their pay would still be more or less unaffected by being held to the same requirements as males. Now comes the question of roles that females are eligible to serve. So I do feel a bit weird about having females in combat roles, but I suppose if they are eligible to pass all the same requirements that a man does to get into those combat roles, then I suppose that would that would just be me, and I'd have to put that aside and say, fair is fair. You can serve this role if you're eligible. And again, those numbers would be far lower, because while most females while male minimum requirements are passable by most higher performing females, even they could typically not pass with first class PFT and CFT. Again, my understanding of this is based on my experience in the Marine Corps. So, infantry, you'd see very few females, and special forces, you'd probably be looking at pretty much zero, which is what it is already. As far as I'm aware, there is no. As far as I'm aware, the only special forces that has any females in it is the Army Rangers. I don't know about the Air Force's PJs. They might have some females, but MARSOC, the SEALs, Recon, and Delta Force, whatever, Green Berets, all the other special forces that I know of still have yet to have any females be able to pass their requirements. So anyways, that's my whole take on that, and with that said, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.